What is up, guys? In this video I got my GoPro ready to go. I'm going to show you guys, for those who buy the Bluetooth Ethanol Analyzer kit from Mods by Max, exactly how to install it. But first I'm going to take mine apart real quick because I'm running a gauge, and then I'll go through the whole install. There's two variations that I'm doing right now, and I'll run through them real quick. But it's getting easier and easier as time goes by. So let me switch to my GoPro and free up my hands, and we'll get started. Okay, so you received your Bluetooth kit, and it comes like this. It looks a little bit different than the line kit, because the line kit you don't get the sensor and the Bluetooth and wiring, right? That would be for anybody running an Innovate gauge that already comes with the sensor, so you don't have to buy everything from me. But when you buy the Bluetooth kit, you get the Fuel-It Bluetooth adapter, and it is modified here on the side. Those of you that have it know it doesn't quite clear the bracket until I modify it a little bit for you. It doesn't reduce the integrity of it or anything. It just clears it nice and clean, so it's not wedging or putting pressure on the sensor at an angle. We don't want to cause an issue with the sensor. The wiring comes ready to go for you guys. It already has a fuse tap with a 5 amp fuse on it. 5 amps is what the Fuel-It will require. Whatever fuse you tap into will go here at the bottom, so you don't have to worry about, you know, tapping into another 5 amp source. You're tapping into a source that is providing 12 volts essentially. The amperage is pretty much decided by the fuse that you put in there. So this will come like this. This is your ground wire, and those of you wondering what this white wire is for, is I always leave a signal wire on there. It's not used, but if for whatever reason you ever decided to go from running Bluetooth to having a gauge, let's say you boosted and you got a 4-in-1 gauge and now it has the capabilities to read ethanol on it, you would simply just tap into your signal wire to obtain the ethanol content and fuel temperature too. You also get a little bag with 2 screws, just like I mentioned on the previous video. The screw that you're going to use is the one with the Allen head here. So this has a little self-tapping notch right here, and the Allen that you're going to use is a 5/32 Allen, and you're going to apply pressure on the existing screw on your fender, and it's going to thread it for you, and I'm going to show you that real quick. But if for some reason you end up stripping it, I send a larger screw that'll take care of it, and it'll look just as good. This is a Phillips, so it's even easier to put in. So I always send an extra just in case. It's only happened once or twice where somebody accidentally stripped it, and that was because they were using an Allen key, and it was kind of difficult to get a good leverage on there. That's why I use a socket. So the other tool that you're going to need is a 10mm wrench. That's going to be for your ground, and a 3/32 Allen. That's going to be for this little hose bracket here, so just to kind of move it around back and forth. I did have some shrink wrap on this before as a spacer, but I don't like the way it looked, and it also forced people to use it in that specific spot, and this gives you the freedom to use it wherever you want. I recommend leaving it here for the same reasons I stated on the other video. You want a little bit of relief here, and you want to make sure that this line here is straight and it's not being pushed this way, because that, not saying that it will, but it could potentially cause a leak in the future if there's constant tension on there for a long time. So what I do is I move this so that it relieves all the tension here and that it flows nice, and then I just snug it up. One thing with this kit is you don't have to touch any of the fittings. Everything's already torqued for you. It's been pressure tested. Same thing here on this side. These have Loctite already on them, so you don't have to mess with anything. The new bracket that I'm using looks like this, and you no longer have to drill into the bottom side of your fender. This will be double-sided with the VHV tape, and it's basically just a foot rest for the bracket. The main thing holding it is this screw back here. Guys, this isn't really going anywhere unless you're absolutely manhandling it. So this is how it looks right now. This comes torqued already. These are all tight. These are snugged up for you, so you don't have to do anything but install it. So having said that, let's move into the actual install. Okay, before you remove the OEM lines, this is your return line, and it's located right here. There's a 90 right there and a straight right over here. You guys can see that. And it has these little retaining clips on there. So this attaches to the hard line and it kind of helps it stay on. The way to take those off is you get a flathead screwdriver and then you just push right here, and it'll kind of get them to slide off like this, right? And then they'll kind of guide through the bottom of the hard line, so you'll just use your flathead to take it off of there. This isn't going to be used. When you remove it, you're going to push the two buttons on the edges. Make sure you have a rag underneath there. You're going to push it, slide it out slowly, and just let it leak whatever fuel is in there. It's very low pressure, so there's not going to be a lot, but you don't want it on your engine. And if you do for some reason get it on your engine, just make sure after you're done with the install, just grab a cup of water and pour it on there. Fuel is water soluble, so some running water will dissipate any of the harshness that could take off car paint, or degrade something, for example. So this is pretty easy to take off, and I will send a PDF instruction manual on how to do this. One other thing that I tell all my customers is leave this in your trunk just in case you ever need to swap it. It requires no tools to swap it, and the reason it requires no tools is because my fittings have the same kind of connectors, so you just take it off by pushing it with your fingers. Alright, next what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your Allen screw that has the little self-tapping notch in there, and you're gonna go on this little existing hole that's right here by the shock tower, and you're gonna start threading it, and it's gonna go kind of hard at first. Mine's already pre-threaded, so but what I do normally is I start kind of getting it in, and then what I do is I apply a little bit of pressure and I just keep going slowly until I feel it threading in. And don't stop applying pressure, just medium pressure while you're going, until you can feel it go all the way smoothly like that. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the kit out here and put it on as if I was installing it, but I'm leaving mine here on the side, so don't pay attention to that. Okay, so this would essentially be threaded already. And what you want to do is you want to tilt this up like that out of your way, so you can get access to the screw, and then thread it in about halfway. You notice it's still loose. Line it up exactly where you want it, and take the double-sided tape backing off, and while paying attention, you make sure that it's nice and lined up, and then stick it on, and then finish tightening this. This will be nice and tight like so, and then you can move this back down, right? And then you can route these in and plug them. So let's say that's done already, right? Now we're moving on to the Bluetooth. So this is pretty simple. This takes literally minutes. What do I do with this right here? Let me get a bungee. All right, so I bungeed mine out of the way, so it keeps getting in the way. So okay, so at this point you would have your Bluetooth plugged in, right? I'm not going to plug it in all the way because once this goes in, it is so hard to get off. There's a little safety switch in there, and so because this is a client's kit, I don't want to I want to send it apart so they can do this themselves, but it'll still make contact, so we're good. All right, so this is your harness. Your harness will be connected to your Bluetooth, and then the first wire that we want to hook up is the ground. So right here next to the shock tower for the hood, there is a 10mm ground bolt that you can tap into, and you're going to loosen this up, and you're going to slide this guy in here once it's loosened up and tying it back in. For this install, I'm just going to make contact with the ground so that I can have it. And because it's coming right back off. Alright guys, save the little tie strap that I send, because what I do is I dress the cables with it, the little extra slack. So I make sure that I have enough of the fuse tap to get to where I need to go. So that should be enough there. So I'm going to coil this much. You can use a tie strap too, but it's just, you know, it's convenient. I already sent a little strap for you guys. It'll work good enough. So just kind of wrap it nice and neat. Like that. Get your little strap on there. This is actually, it may not be long enough, so if that's the case, then you're going to want to use a tie strap. And then what you want to do is you want to tuck it, just kind of tuck it back here, out of the way. Alright guys, for the power wire, the fuse tap is going to run through this trim right here. Just lift it and run it through inside, and then you're going to come straight across here like this. There'll be a picture on the instructions on how to do that. Okay, now we're going to open the fuse box by pushing this button down here and lifting, and then you're going to pull up, get it off the little tabs up here. Once the cover is off, you'll notice that there is a wiper 5-amp fuse here that we can tap into, and also a washer fuse. I'm going to kind of explain why we could use either one of those depending on how you want to tap into it. So if you tap into the wiper, which is right here, you're gonna have to cut the plastic here so that this closes, because the fuse tap has to go this way. If you're okay with that, it looks very clean. I'll show you guys a picture up here on the video. I've done it on a lot of clients that way myself, and this, as long as you do it with the Dremel, you're gonna basically just grind a little bit of the plastic here so that this fits nice and smooth in there, and then you're good to go. Then you can close it. What you're gonna do is you're gonna pull that fuse, you're gonna install it on the lower section here, and then just put this in there and close it up. Once you grind that little piece of plastic, you're gonna also have to grind a little bit here to clear that, and then you should be good. If you don't want to make modifications to this wire is thick enough that it can get pinched, so that's why it's a larger size wire here. This one, not so much. So what you do is you tap into the 20 amp here, facing this way, like this, and then you just close the lid on the wire. So we're gonna do that for demonstration purposes. So you get your little fuse puller, pull that 20 amp, and you're gonna put it here on the bottom, And then we're going to install it facing this way. And this goes in pretty stiff, so don't be afraid to push on it. It has to click. Once it clicks, it's not going anywhere. And then just give the wire a little fold here like this, just enough to leave outside of here like that. And then all you got to do now is just close this. And it's gonna pinch the wire, but the wire is thick enough that it's okay. Now if you keep taking the cover on and off, then you will end up damaging the wire. But so far I haven't had any issues doing it this way, so this is for people that don't want to modify the box. And then just push down here until it clicks and you should be good to go. And then run this over to the side into the housing, and that's it. Wiring's done. And I'll show you guys what the app looks like. All right, now we're gonna connect. Okay, it's gonna update firmware. I do this before I ship them out, so you guys won't have to do this. But if you do, just hit OK.
Double down. It's just not gonna. It's like
Okay, update completed. Now we hit connect again, and there it is. Currently at E50. This is the calculator that you can use to fill up. There's better calculators than this. This is kind of annoying. The reason I don't like it is because it only goes up to 10 gallons. So I don't normally use it, but this will also show you the E-content and the temperature of the fuel. This isn't accurate right now because the car's not running, so it's only measuring whatever was sitting in the line right now. I'm actually not at E50. I'm a little lower than that, but once you run it, this will reflect the correct ethanol content. Alright, that is it for the install. This is probably one of the quickest kits that I've kind of put together as far as install. It shouldn't take too long. It's very easy. There's no hard modifications unless you want to get creative with it. But the simplest I can make these, the better it is for the customer and the happier people are. So drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video with friends that might need a kit. And also, just know that I do kits for other cars as well. I just specialize in Lexus right now. So if you have another platform that you would like a kit for, just shoot me a DM and we can make something custom for you. Also, check out the new sign.